that knock over the birds?
Hey everybody, I'm Hannah.
Hi, I'm Ann.
Hi, I'm Marie, and we are coming to you live from Austin, Texas. Why?
Happy Woolly Wednesday!
We're hoping 3 times the charm. Someone's going to refresh our view right here because we've looked fine on my phone, and we just want to be right side up for our show today. Thank you for joining us, you guys. Wednesdays, this is what we like to do on Wednesdays. There we are, we're right side up, yay! Wednesdays, we'd like to hang up with you for about an hour and have a little interactive gathering. Today, our theme is...
Birds of a feather!
Birds of a feather. We have an awesome exhibit here. Some of our friends from around North America have sent us their beautiful birds. We're going to share those with you today and hopefully just have a great time hanging out for about an hour. So we're going to get started. We are Living Felt. Sorry for our technical difficulties. Hopefully you can see us fine now. We can see you, and I'm watching some people check in. Hi Jenny, hi Miles, hi Tracy and Judy. Thank you all for being with us, and thank you for your patience. We like to do this on Wednesdays. If this is your first time joining us, say hi and where you're from. We're in Austin, and we've had some pretty chilly weather this week, so some of you know we were closed yesterday, but we're back, and these girls have been kicking some major clock time to get your packages out, and you guys did great, right? Got a whole mess of packages out from yesterday and today. So we are kicking off our Birds of a Feather exhibit, and we have some wonderful pieces to share with you. The exhibit is bigger than the pieces that we have with us today. We're going to break them into 2 shows so that we can give good airtime to everybody. There's Elsa, she's in the UK, and Sparrow is right up the road. Doreen, all the way from Scotland. Hey, y'all. Darlene Samuel. Wind chill is 7. Wow. That's kind of how it was for us this morning. I was saying it's 17 on my way to work, and we've had lots of ice, but we're thawing out a little bit today. We are going to share with you some wonderful pieces from our friends who have joined us for this Birds of a Feather exhibit. So I'm just going to step aside for a second, and you can see these are 5 beautiful pieces that we're going to look at together today. And this very first one is by Sandra Atkins in South Carolina. This is just a gorgeous blue heron. And some of you know that I have a smaller version of this hanging in my house. And it's like that big. It's like a corner of this. But I wonder, Anne, if you think do you think we should like get a little bit closer on this piece? Anne's gonna come in so you all can admire some of the magic of this piece up close. I'll just move this. Let me move this one out of the way. This is a pre-felt background, very much like our PFX, but it's a solid color. She got that from, it's not solid, it's a little bit solid, got that from someone else. And you can come back a little bit, all these colors in here she added to the background. This bird does have dimension. It's 2D, but it's almost like a little bit of a relief. And we love how she used the merino silk, a blend, this is ocean actually, and how she used that trailing down to show the feathers and show all the way down to the reflection there in the water. How beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys? I'm gonna heart her. She lives on a marsh, actually. She lives on a marsh and says that it's really a wonderful inspiration, and the blue heron is really a natural theme for her to choose. Let me see if there's anything else I can tell you. I know she made this for her house, so this particular piece is hers. She says basically that she used a variety of fibers, some local fibers, some from us, some from other people. And we also love this use of locks down here in that wall hanging. It's absolutely gorgeous, and hanging on a rod up there. So big hearts for Sandra. And I want to tell you that all of these pieces, the ones we show you this week and next week, are going to be on display here in our shop until the end of February. So all of these works are on loan if you're local or if you're coming through town. Some of them are for sale and some of them are not, and we're not playing a role in that, but for the ones that are for sale, we'll just connect people with the artist so they can just buy them directly from them. So yay, Sandra! And now Hannah's going to show off one too. I'm going to like Sandra's though. There I go.
Hey y'all. Alrighty, I've got a little bit of a smaller piece today. This is a red crested cardinal, and I picked him out because not only is he gorgeous, cardinals are one of my favorite birds, and I thought he was a really cool colored cardinal. But this is made by Diana Densmore in Florida, and you can see here he's made mostly with a MC1 batting. He's very firm, very well felted. He's very stiff, very well structured. And his little legs have a little bit of armature in them. And then she did say on this little crest that he has in his hair, this is a little combination of the MC1 batting. And to get those longer fibers in there, she used some of the New Zealand Corriedale. And she did say that this bird's originally from South America, but when she was visiting Hawaii, she was able to see it wild in Hawaii, and she just fell in love with it. And so did I. So thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Alrighty, the next bird that we'd like to show is from Gilda Goodwin. This is a GALAH Cockatoo. Get in a little close here. She said she fell in love with these birds after a friend started raising them. And he's made using MC1 and merino top. His feathers are wet felted. And the eyes themselves are painted with a red metallic paint. They're glass eyes. The backs were just painted. I don't know, I'm just going to try to get in close here so you can see the detail at the beak. I don't know if you can see the tiny needle felted tongue in there. We love this detail. He's got a little bit of armature in his feet. And he's got polymer clay, little talons there. And then the other thing is she's got her little name tag on him as well. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been calling it a him. It's actually a her. The red eyes denote that it's a female.
Wow, I did not know that. How cool. I don't know if we pause for a second. Would you do a sideways? And let's do a nice pause with him up close and just a little bit higher too, all the way. What a beautiful composition, huh?
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
What's her business name?
Oh, and Gilda Goodwin's business name is The Woolen Shed.
I didn't do Sandra's. We'll go back and do everybody's.
There we go. And the next one is going to come from Linda Brodersen. These owls are hers. It was done on a linen background that was mounted on cardboard. And she sent some inspiration photos. It was a commissioned piece. These images were actually captured in somebody's barn, in the attic of somebody's barn. There's the babies, and there are these guys. And we'll show it up close as well. Here are the barn owls. One thing that I love is the beading on the feathers. This piece was done using mostly MC1. You can see the beads here. Love the sweet little owl family. And Linda's business name is LB Designs.
You show her little signature at the bottom.
Yep. She's got her signature right there in the bottom corner.
Let me see. People just love it very much.
We love it as well. Any questions?
So far, everyone's just kind of floored. No one,
Yeah.
no one's asking any questions. They're just heart. Isn't that fun?
It is.
Very cool, very cool. Okay, thank you, Anne.
Absolutely.
Okay, aren't these amazing? Aren't they inspiring pieces? And it's a really eclectic mix of art. So the last one that we're going to feature for today, and the rest are going to be for next time. Some are still in transit, I think, coming to us. This one is by Sonja Oswalt, who I know is on here today. So let me get this little guy up, and look how darling he is. Now her paper just came in for him, so I'm going to have to read a little bit, but I'm going to show you that he's mounted on this little faux log, and this is like 100%, I think it's core wool with MC1 over the top. I love that he has a little bobble to him. And then that is mounted on this wonderful wooden platform. So I'll just turn him around so you can see his feathers applied individually, and then his back. I'm showing up fine. His eyes are wool. And that color on there, this red color is definitely NZ Corriedale. And she says, one of her favorite things as a graduate student in fisheries and science was to go spotlighting owls at night. And she got to see many of these little guys. And this guy is a red, oh, I can't read. It's a red screech owl, I want to say. Read that for me, Anne. It's like a red screech owl. And he is so well mounted on there. He's got wire in his little feet, and his body is nice and solid under like a poofy exterior, which is really fun. So he feels very, you know, he's got a nice consistency to him, but he also feels and looks fluffy when you see him. Like he looks right, you know? Just gorgeous. And all the color on the wood, so perfect. Here's her business is called ConsipracyofLove. I think this comes off. It's an Eastern screech owl, and it's like a rainbow stamp on there. And Sonja, some of you know that all of the profits from her pieces go to charity. So all of her art ultimately ends up contributing to her favorite charity. Aren't they wonderful? Heart. Okay, how does she mount the round on the round wood? So, Sonja, can you answer that? Sonja's on here. How did you mount this onto the wood? Is that glued onto the wood piece?
She says lots of needling the feet.
Oh, so that's just wool to wool. That's a wool to wool adhesion. I thought they meant on the plate. What about on the wood plate? So how did you mount the wool, this wool, onto the wood plate? That's probably got to be glue. Do you use that crazy E6000 stuff? Do you use that crazy E6000 stuff to mount it on there? I'm trying to watch what she says. I know, aren't they amazing, y'all? These are really beautiful pieces, and they're so inspirational. What we wanted to do, traditionally every January, we do a Birds Like Week. And this year, what we wanted to do differently, thank you, Anne, was to actually bring in some of these remarkable works of art so that you can look at them and gain a little more inspiration, maybe more specific ideas and more specific questions, so that you can endeavor to make your own. I've been working on a 2D piece myself. I hope to bring that in next week. And I'm working on a 3D piece also. So what are you all going to make, and what questions do you have that will help you get started on your own? We have a few questions. We have a few questions keyed up that we are going to answer today, and we'll have time for. But specific to these birds, what would you like to ask these artists? What would you like to know?
Oh, Sonja just replied, the owl is needled to the log is glued to the wood with E600.
Right, the E6000. So E6000, I don't know if I have it here at home, is like this really powerful glue, but it smells really strong. So you'd want to use it in a well-ventilated area. You know, I think what we'll have time to do, hi Mara, hi Sarah. You know what I think we'll have time to do is to show a little bit of a little bit of an armature, so that if you all want to practice, I'm going to show some, and then if there's time, I'll show actually how to do some, so that if you all want to make your own little bird, you can maybe give it a go. And so let me just organize my stuff here a little bit. You know what we're going to do is we're going to post everybody's website. We're going to type in everybody's business name who has a business of the birds that we've shared, so that as you're watching back to this broadcast, you can tie them in. But what I think we'll do is we'll do it in the description, so it's real easy to find and not all blended in the middle. We'll do it in the description so everybody can find them. Okay, so let's look at someone, Linda Rapaski asked a little bit about the bird feet. All we really have time today is to look at a basic armature, and then we can talk about how you might progress from the armature, and we can even look at some of these wonderful birds to think about that. So let me first show you, for all of you that joined us last week, I talked to you about making mini models with the Chenille Stems. So just using the regular pipe cleaners to work out your ideas and make a mini model. So step one, if you're wanting to make a bird, I would say start small and work out some of your ideas in a smaller scale. And then two is work out your ideas for an armature just in the Chenille Stems, something that you won't mind wasting and throwing away. So this is my little Chenille Stem example, big, funny big feet, and what would be like the head, the body, and the tail. Or it could go the opposite way, except we'd have to turn his feet around. But that's how I made him. So let me show you this in wire. I'll show you it in 2 stages. Here is another one with a Chenille Stem body. So remember, I do 2 different colors so that when you look back, you can tell what happened. And Anne will interrupt me with any questions. So here is the Chenille Stem. This is just the body, would be the head, the body, and the tail. And then we're using our 32 gauge, right, paddle wire is 32 gauge, Anne? 32. For, 22. It's 22. Oh, it's 22 for the feet. And I'm going to show you how I did that as long as we don't run out of time. Do you think that would be helpful, folks, to see?
A lot of people are asking to see how the bird feeder made, or just how to get started. Okay,
so this is what we're going to endeavor to make right now, although my paddle wire, I think, that we brought in is white. So this is what we're going to do. And I have this, and I have wire cutters. So Anne's going to turn us down, and I'm going to do my best to show this to you. See me? Okay, good. All right, gals. So if you just want to play with the idea, start with your Chenille Stems. Okay? So the first thing we would do is take a body wire, and we're going to fold it in half. For those of you who aren't experienced twisting wire, this is what I do. I hold my hand here, and then I twist like this. And you don't have to twist the wire. It twists real evenly. And this is how I would do it no matter what wire I'm using. Just twist, and that'll make it nice and strong and very even. So make a model first. I'm going to cut this guy to about 12 inches. This is, I'm using our green 18 gauge armature wire, which is cloth covered. That's what is on these guys right here. Fold it in half evenly. Pinch it. Put your hands right there. Am I close enough, Anne, to see? Okay. Use your thumb and your forefinger to just give yourself a little place to hold the wire straight and twist with the opposite hand. Get this out of the way. Twist with the opposite hand. If it seems like it starts to get close together, just spread it out and put your hands back in that place. That's going to give you a real even twist and make it easy to work with. Okay, so that is your body. Don't bend it yet. Leave it right there where you have it. Now we're going to do the feet. The feet are going to be so easy as well. And what we're going to do is take one wire and we're going to twist it. I put like about the middle point of the body. For the head, I want it to be the loop and the tail can be the cut end. You're going to put your wire about midpoint and then you're going to twist it around, depending on the wire, 2, 3, 4 times. You see that? And this one we're going to twist around this way 2, 3, 4 times. These 2 wires, we're going to twist just like we did before with holding a gate here and then twisting. So these are going to become one leg. Now this is too short to work with, but I'm just giving you the idea before we go to the other wire, just so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So these are going to come together to be a leg. For a little birdie like these, this is a little birdie, or this is a little birdie, they don't need to be very long. They can be really short. And then what you'll do is this will get twisted to form the feet. So if you practice with your chenille a few times, I'm going to just do it with this one, even though it might be too short. You can see how we're going to do this for each leg. One is going to go to the back and then come. This is going to be like the little back talon. Just fold one back. If you have one longer wire, then you can fold that into 3. This is going to be too short again, so it needs to be longer. But we'll just bend the toes like that and then wrap it around the ankle. So let me do that with our paddle wire. I don't know how well it's going to show up because it's white, but I'll try. If you need me to get in close, I will. Can they see it? I don't know if y'all can see it, but I'm going to do my best. What type of bird would that armature be for? Terry, this could be for almost any bird. So this could be for a bluebird or a little chickadee or a wren. You know, I'm not a real exact person. You know, I'm going to use mine for a bluebird. You could use it for a cardinal, a blue jay. You know, you'll want to look up your particular bird and see what do its feet look like and what do its feathers look like and what's the proportion of its body to its head. But
let me slide this under real quick.
Thank you, Anne. But for if you wanted to do an owl, then you would make the feet could be bigger, the body could be shorter, and the body would go, you know, more up, and the tail could even sit down. So whatever bird you're doing, work out your armature ideas, try and get the basic concept down in the chenille, and then play with it a little bit. You don't have to get it right the very first time. So this is the same as the black wire on these bird feet. It's white. So we have this in 2 different colors. And here's what we're going to do. Right across the middle of the body. Are we good visually? Mm-hmm. Okay. Right across the middle of the body. Pinch it down so it stays where you want it. Get it really close and then wrap it over, you know, 2, 3 times so that it feels really secure. And then for this wire, go the opposite direction. This wire will just mash down really well. Now remember, this is a starter bird. This is bird number 1. And I probably could have had my wire a little bit further up, but for the sake of this, we'll keep going. Pinch right here. Twist. And that is going to make a really strong little leg.
And Vicki Ryan asks, if you end up with too short of wire on your armature, can you add on, or would it be better to start over?
I would start over, and I would get your dimensions out first so that, you know, in a practice, even with wires smaller than you need, meaning the gauge may be more narrow than you need, so that you get your dimensions figured out. If you need something to be exact. For me, I want this to be maybe about as long as my pinky, because we're going to need room for the body, the belly, you know, the body, the belly, and the bend in the back of the leg. So now that is a nice, strong, stout little leg. And then we want to form the feet. And this is just one way, y'all. There's so many ways you could go about it. Maybe you're more exact than me. But I'm just going to form these little toes by bending. You can clamp it with your needle nose pliers and then go ahead and put the twist in. And that's toe number 1. use your longest wire when you're building those feet. One of them's going to be longer, or make one of the edges longer so that you have enough room to make all those toes. I usually make the middle toe bigger. Bend that one. If you're real exact, like if you need a real, you want all your toes to just totally match, well then get a little something, like a little something narrow, and bend around that so you know that they're all the same exact length. But for me, it's never really that important. And then I'm going to cover these with wool anyway. Some people will bake polymer clay onto these toes, which you could do at this stage or even after you have your core wool on. So now look, we have 3 little toes or feet or whatever they're called. And where these two come together, where you have the back, these two come together and you're going to form the back toe, go ahead and twist that wire so that you have some stability. Wrap one around and wrap it as close as you can. And what we can do is just go back up the leg. So I think someone's giving dimensions there. Can you comment, Anne? So I'm going to pinch that and twist. And this is our back little toe, whatever they're called. I'm not I'm not the person to look these things up.
Shelly Boss asks, do you feel that the flocked pipe cleaners work better or bare wire?
We don't really use, this is painted wire. We use painted wire and cloth covered wire. And these, these little things that are lightweight, I only use these for models or wrapping around other wool, or for something that I really don't need a lot of stability in, because they don't have a lot of strength. So notice, y'all, that I just took that extra wire and wrapped back up the leg. This wire is very, very thin, and we can wrap this with wool. So rather than cut and have little wire pieces sticking out, you can just wrap it back up the leg. If that feels like too much, then find a place to cut it off. But I think this is narrow enough, and what all these wraps do is give a place. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I want you to know we did. Okay, so here's my little foot, and doing the second leg is exactly the same. Usually what I'll do is I'll get both legs sticking down, and then I'll build the feet at the same time so that I can cut the wires and get them to be the same length. And just in the essence of time for today, I didn't do that. So does this work? Does this help you all? I'm looking for... Anne had to step out, so I'm looking for questions. So this is going to be the same as this little guy. My foot's backwards, so I'll just turn him this way. This is going to be the same as for this little guy. And they'll stand quite well. You can bend the toes, and what you can do is wrap your fiber around these little feet. If you want to have little talons, you can put the clay on and bake it, and then wrap it with wool or whatever, but you can bake the wool and it won't burn. Does that help? Oh, good. I'm so glad it helps. Oh, good, 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 good. So this little guy will be something like this. You can make the feet super big. It doesn't matter. You can make them little. And I would just play with a few armatures and have some made. Let me turn up here. That you can work with, that you can reference after you're done. Like, don't use your armature and then not have it as a reference, especially if it's your first time. And so now that you're seeing this again, I'll just show these up close. So you can see, it's okay if the wool's bulky on the body. This is gonna have a lot more stability with the 18 gauge wire, and we're gonna build our core wool up on this as much as you want, or as much as you need to. So all of those wire wraps are going to be great for grabbing the core wool.
We have a couple of questions.
Okay.
The first is going to come from Carolyn Langley. What do you mean bake the wool on?
Oh no, not bake the wool, but bake the clay. So we sell a clay. You might use Sculpey. We have a Primo clay, and you can actually bake that to be your little talons or even your little beak. And what I'm saying is you can put the clay on and actually wrap your fiber on the feet and then bake the piece, and the wool won't burn. I'm just saying that you can do those together. So you don't need to bake the wool on, but to bake the clay on if you want that for talons or beaks.
And Linda asks, do you use any tacky stuff or just needle felt over the wire?
You know, prior till this year, I never used any tacky stuff. But what I would say is if you try our Paverpal or other fabric hardener or other type of hardening clear, especially clear hardening glue that you like, after you have the wool on the feet, I don't know what's on this part, but so after you have the wool on the feet, like with this beautiful little guy, you can paint the Paverpal over the fiber. And the thicker you make it, the more it's going to actually change the texture. Or if you don't want to change the texture, but you want to hold the ends so that they don't come undone, what you can do is make a 50-50 mix of the or less, but Paverpal to water, or you could do more Paverpal to water, and actually brush it on, and then just kind of tack it with your fingers to hold it in place. I never used to do that. And on my witch, some of you all saw that I just did in October, I did it on her fingers. Because what I found is my dolls get handled so much, whether by me or someone here at the shop, that they start to get roughed up. And I don't want to go back and fix them. So if your critter's going to be handled in any way, you might decide you like to do that. And what I like about the Paverpal, when you put it over the wool, is one, the wool color shows through, and two, it seems like it changes the characteristics when you make it thick enough so that it gives it a new feeling, more like a leg, I guess, of a bird foot. So, what other questions can I answer?
Linda Windsor asks, is it still flexible? Yes, with the glue.
The glue, I probably wouldn't bend the toes a whole bunch. You probably want to get the bird in the position you want it before you pile on that, because the thicker and thicker you get it, the harder and harder it's going to be.
Linda Rapaski asks, oh, I just lost that comment. Getting it back. Linda Rapaski asks, do the feet always have to be covered with wool, or are there other options? No,
well, you don't have to cover them with wool. Some people might dip them in this plasticky, rubbery stuff. Some people keep the wire bare. Some people use like a waxed cord. Some people use embroidery floss and then glue that down. There's anything you want to do is, open. It's open. Yeah.
Pam Golding asks, is it best to start from the top of the leg and work down? Or she's sharing that it is best.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree. I have tried it the other way, and that's a lot harder to get the size right. But if you start from the top of the leg and work down, then you can get them the same length, cut all the wires, and then start building your shapes. Just so that it's more balanced. But you know what? Even if one's a little bit longer, all you got to do is move 1 foot forward or 1 foot back, or bends one's toes a little bit more. If it doesn't need to be perfect.
And do we have enough time in the broadcast to show how to start wrapping wool around?
Would you grab me a little core wool? Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Thanks, y'all, for playing along. I'm glad you're here with us. So we'll start wrapping this little one that we started here with a little bit of core wool. Yes, your rules, agree, explore, and expand. Thank you, Paula, for reminding us of our theme this year. Explore, expand, stretch, be willing to get it wrong, be willing to get it right. And you all should know that if I say be willing to get it wrong, it means because you can't get it wrong, right? Right. So I'm just saying, take that chance. Okay, here's a piece of our core wool, which of course we get it in, great big amounts. And you can often work with it well in little strips. This is just our CW1 core wool. Now to wrap this toe, we only need a tiny bit. And when you want to do tiny things or any size, be willing to split your wool down, so that it's the narrowest, thinnest you need it for what you're working on. So Anne's going to turn us back down here. And some people would use roving for this. I don't know, whatever, New Zealand roving or something else. This is our core wool, and you might, prefer to use black or gray or brown. Are we close enough? We're going to be close enough? And here's what I want to tell you. Now, this is a very short fiber, but you can still draft it out so that it's very, very narrow. And where do you want to be?
Just closer. Yeah.
Just closer?
We're good.
Okay. So you could wrap from the toes up or here down. And I think someone said, well, they prefer to wrap from the top up. I like to go up and down a piece. And you can start right here, maybe on the body, and anchor it. Just get a little thin webby piece. It doesn't matter.
And Spring is asking, why wouldn't you wrap the legs in color wool?
And you could. I just asked her to grab me our core wool. You could use any color you want, Spring. Any color, any color. Okay, so first thing I'm doing is just anchoring this on the body. And what I want you to notice is that I'm kind of pulling that rather taut, but I'm not pulling it so taut that it breaks. But what I want you to notice is how narrow it is. Because the thing with this fiber, I'm going to get this little wire down. The thing with this fiber is it'll really grab on itself well, and you won't have to needle it if you wrap it really well and dry felt it with your hands. If you're making a thicker piece, well then by all means do. Now, some of y'all have seen me wrap before, and what you might remember is that I like to twist the armature and hold this wrapping hand steady. And that to me gives me the most control for getting that fiber where I want it. This can be as thick or as thin as you want for your bird. And that is as easy as it is to wrap the leg and or the toe. So I just want to cover all my wire. I'm going to stay in one place and just work my way down. Are there any questions? Can you all see what I'm doing? Am I on the camera fine? We're doing good?
We're doing good.
See how easy this is? Y'all can't get it wrong. Just do, and if you don't like the way I do it, then do it the way somebody else does it. And if you don't like how they do it, keep finding find your own way, make your own way up.
And Kate Williams just asks, are you right or left-handed? Are you twisting with your dominant hand?
Yes, I'm right-handed. I am. So what? Just for fun, I'm going to go around the toe I'm going to go around the back one first. And if you wanted to just solidify that, here's two things you can do. You could dampen your hand, like add a little dampness right here, or you could add a little, like we were saying, of the powder paw. You might have clay, already sticking out on these toes. And if you all don't know what I'm talking about, then you can see we have a free, is it a tutorial, Anne, for the claws and fingers, where we show how to use the clay on different sculptures. So notice that, kind of how you wrap an ace bandage. I went around what would be the ankle. That's what I did there. So I didn't just jump over to another toe. And then I'm wrapping to the end. And then I'll go back. I'm going to go back up towards the middle and then wrap around. I'll wrap around this outer toe. This is as easy as it is, y'all. So easy, so easy, so easy. You can spread those toes out and bring them back together in a minute. With your birds, you might find that you like to go ahead and add a little bit of that adhesive on, and you can do it while you're wrapping. Your hands would get a little moist, but it won't be bad. I'm going back now. Back. And I'm barely going to make it. She's barely going to make it. I have to go around, and then I'll go under. I would add more. I mean, this is a skinny little leg and a quickie demo. And we have a few questions, other questions that people ask that we want to get to. So I'm messing it up because I haven't paused to do anything with it. But you could go back and do other layers. And you could also twist, let me get this guy up here. So where this guy is, where we're coming up at the end of the toe, you can bring him up and then take your needle and tack it down like right there where it comes back to the foot. And go back and add as much fiber as you need. So this is layer 1 and all your fiber beneath will grab onto it. But if you're going to keep them super skinny, then think about either adding water or like a glue or a Powerpol or something so that you can get it to lay down. And you can also just rub it like dry. You're basically dry felting it by doing this between your fingers, believe it or not. But this is too skinny. I would definitely add another layer to hide all that wire. And I would work on this toe, like right now I'm in a hurry. I would work on this toe and get that laying down. Twist it, twist it, twist it, twist it. And then you can put, if you're gonna put your adhesive or whatever on there, do it on there now, let it. Or after you get all your wool on there, put that on. Does that help?
Yeah, Linda Rapaski says, great ideas, thanks.
Is that it? Okay. There was one thing someone wrote about the Powerpol being malleable.
Becky shares, and then when the Powerpol starts to dry, it's malleable, and I shape with my fingers.
Very nice. Good. So I hope everyone will start working on, if you've been holding off working on a bird, our goal for you was to encourage you to just give it a go and give it a try. These are just some wonderful specimens for us, and we have another group that we're going to show next week. We're also going to be showing these in our newsletter, on our blog. I hope you'll pin them. I hope you'll share them and help promote these beautiful pieces of art and the artists too. And then we're going to list their websites. And remember, if you're in town or you know someone coming through town, they can visit them in person, and we'll be enjoying them through the end of February. So before we sign off or jump to another topic, can we just get a big round of applause to everybody? Big hearts to all these people. I'm going to super heart for their beautiful works of art and just bringing them out here for us to see because they are gorgeous. For people who are asking about the clay, I'll just show these talons again up really close. Can we see those, Anne, of Gilda Goodwin's? They're just gorgeous. And this is wrapped really well. And when you get to bigger feet like this, it's easier to needle felt them and tack it all down because these don't feel like they have any kind of adhesive on them at all. The wool's just been wrapped really tightly and really well. So great job, gals. Park them there. Super good. Now we have some other stuff to do, and Rachel Carter wanted to see MC1 Brown.
Yes.
Big hearts. Yeah, everyone give me big hearts. So Anne's going to answer a community question. Request.
Alrighty, we have got MC1 Browns. Alrighty, we're going to start from the bottom here. This one is chestnut, dark chocolate, mahogany, vintage brown, willow, cinnamon brown, pumpkin spice, clay, latte, espresso bean, caramel. Oh, and there's one kind of hiding right here. I missed him. Let's see if we can. Okay, this one right here is pecan. We've got caramel, birch, cafe au lait, driftwood, oatmeal. This is sand, linen, and these two we usually put with our hot tones, but they're great skin tones, so we wanted to make sure to show them next to linen and sand. This one right here is our pale peach, and this one is peachy.
Let's get a little bit more close up and a pause so that they can kind of, and just back a little. Let me just see if I can get you in frame. Okay, pause. Y'all might want to screenshot that right there. So Anne, can you come down like 2 inches? Yeah, y'all might want to do a little screenshot there. That's all the browns together so you can kind of get an idea. Nice job. Big hearts to you, Anne. Thank you. Everyone's choosing their colors.
Oh.
You said vintage brown looks green on her screen.
It can.
It's definitely not, yeah, definitely not, no green to it at all. So, oh good, everyone's super happy about that. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, I know that I had one more question to answer, and it was Amberly Barnes asked about, the felt versus the pre-felt. Felt versus pre-felt. And then I know that Leslie Cal Mitchell also asked to see the gray pre-felts. So our pre-felt versus felt. Pre-felt is unfelted, right? And felt is felted. So this is an example of our felt. It is a needle felt. It's out of Europe. This is the 1 millimeter. It's very thin. You can cut this. You can sew with this. Just as it is, it has a lot of integrity. So this is a felt sheet. This is a standard 8x12 felt sheet. The pre-felt, we have two types of pre-felt. There's the PFM, which is our Merino Prefelt. This is the smallest. You can get it in an 1/8 sheet. We're going to see it's not very thick. It's very delicate. Like I could really stretch this out of shape if I wanted to. And I could even peel it in half. So this is often used for doll clothes when people want to needle felt them on, whether it's like a little collar, and you can tear or cut this and then fray the edges a little bit and blend it in with the matching fiber below, or sleeves, or the end of a coat, or like the front of a coat, so that you can get real nice clean lines and make it look like garments that come off. And obviously we wet felt with it too. This question just came up around doll clothes. So I wanted to show you that this doesn't really have integrity, or if you use it for removable clothes, it would be very difficult because one, you needed to get it into the final shape, and two, it's very delicate. It would get roughed up over time. But this is our pre-felt, and it can be felted. So you felt this into a fabric if you don't want to get the commercial felt. It's very fine, it's very delicate, and very nice. And then we have our PFX, which is a coarser pre-felt, and that is more often used for like the background of a picture or the base of a piece. It's more coarse, it's just one color, it's white. This actually feels like a half thickness, and not the full. This is not the full thickness. This is actually, it's already been torn. But just to show you that it's a loftier and it's coarser, and it only comes in one color. And really, we created this for more like works like this, or even a work like this, although this is on linen, where you might want to needle felt a picture on or use it as a base of something. Because a pre-felt, most of the time, has been needle punched into a semi-fabric state, and then you have to cut it, and you get very hard lines. So very often you don't want to wet felt with it. Although the over resist or something, but these people will even use these in wet felting over resist. So hopefully anything can be dyed. Sherry, any wool can be dyed. So I'm answering that question. Yes, but if you dye the PFM, the very fine stuff, you just want to be delicate with it, because it'll felt if it gets agitated too much. So let me see. Can you dye that? Dye. Yes, y'all can dye. Okay, good. I missed something about pelts. Not sure.
Oh, someone was asking Gilda what she used the pre-felt for. She said that she used the pre-felt on her sculptures. Wonderful.
Good. Well, you know what? I think we are almost just out of time. We have to do two more things. And one is, Anne, you have something for me? No. One is, I want to remind y'all that on January 31st, we are going to wet felt hearts together. That's going to be right here during our Woolly Wednesday broadcast. That's going to be a felt along, and you can just watch if you don't want to felt with us. I have a new one. Here's one that I made this last weekend, just to show you how free the idea could be. You can find an old necklace or any old beads that you have. The colors can be all your own. These are the ones, this is one of the ones that was hanging up on the wall. This is going to be the ideal size to do during our felt along, is something this small. And this is another one that I haven't strung up yet, but this is a bigger one. We won't have time to do the big ones together, but this one is done out of MC1 batting with other yarns and Tussa silk, sari silk waste, novelty yarn, neps, sari ribbon. I'm just suspending my string back there. And this little guy is merino top. The white one, this white one is merino top and other fibers. So I'm going to put out a supplies list for you all. It won't matter whether you have merino top or MC1 or something else, you want a wet felting fiber. And there's going to be a few of us. Our plan is to have a couple of people felting hearts here during our felt along so that you get a few different examples and we just make the most out of our time together. So I hope you will not need a resist, but you will need a cutout or something to go for your target shape. So I'm going to post all of that, but this right here, a little bit bigger than my hand, this is the size I use for the white. It's just a basic guide to kind of get your fiber laid out. So think small, but not too small. So here to here, you know, about that big, a little bit bigger. Okay, so we have one last thing to do. We want to say hey and thank you. Is Hannah available? We're going to grab her and we're going to say goodbye. We want to thank you all for spending this time with us. We're getting a big shipment right now. Some of y'all are waiting on some of our MC1 colors, so we have pallets. We have pallets coming in right now, and so we're going to sign off. We got prizes to give away. Real quick, we want to show you, Leslie Cal Mitchell asked about our grays in our pre-felts, and this is a quick view of the monochrome palette in the PFM pre-felt, and these are the grays up the middle. So I'll just show them to you real fast. They are slate, elephant, and mist. You can see
that's going from top to bottom.
Yeah. Slate, elephant, mist. There they are. That was a quickie. Okay, good. So we're doing it quick. Before we give prizes away, we want to say a huge thank you. We want to say thank you to Maria Cohen in Florida. She made us the beautiful necklaces that we're wearing today just as a gift. So I'll show you this is a gift. So everybody got one. They were individually wrapped with our names on the package. And we just want to say thank you so much. We appreciate all of you more than we could take up a whole show. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty much gushing about how much we love you. But we're going to give away prizes instead. Everybody who's participated today gets their name in a hat, and we're going to pull some prizes. Do you have Anne's got the prizes?
Alrighty, first winner, Linda Rapaski.
Yay!
Yay,
Linda! Congratulations. So Linda, what does she want, Anne?
She wins an Armature assortment. We've got an assortment here of our chenille. Oh, I just
No, you did not.
Assortment of some chenille stems, some 18 gauge, some paddle armature, and some wire armature.
So you can make your own bird or people or other things with Armature. Congratulations, Linda.
Dan Padan.
Alrighty.
Heart, heart, heart.
Okay. Cheryl Heibel.
Yay, Cheryl! Congratulations. Cheryl, you have won a 6-pack of our MC1 felting bats. And we have a lot of packs to choose from. This happens to be our pinks and berries, purples and berries, purples and berries packs. And so you can email customer service at livingfelt.com and pick any of those 6 packs of MC1 that you would like.
Ready, start?
Oh, my turn. Okay, one last prize. Someone's going to win it. This is Carolyn Langley.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Carolyn, you win one of our 2D realistic kits. This one's the Cardinal.
Congratulations, Carolyn. This is what you won, is a little kit to make this bird. We thought it was kind of appropriate for our birds of a feather. So you're going to get all the instruction and the template and the wool and the foam and the needles. Yeah, everything. So a deluxe kit. Yay! Is that it?
That's it.
We got a wool shipment to get. Y'all, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Y'all
Thank
say
y'all.
anything?
See you next week.
Have a great week.
Bye. Have a great week. Thank you.